I think it's just a sense of luck.
Well, yeah, there's luck, but we saw. Well, this may or may not be the same bird that I saw yesterday in this field.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Deer Shop Podcast, presented by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky John Boat Company.
Yeah. He went and watched a movie that has a $200 million production budget, and then the next thing he watched was our video on YouTube that has a $0 production budget.
This is the first buck I've shot in over 10 years.
Your track job was the first fun track job. That kind of I think part of my life was influenced by that night.
Then you miss him 3 times with a rifle at 70 yards on video for the whole world to see.
Yeah, that's what Caleb did. 5 years ago, we couldn't shoot a deer at 100 yards with a slug gun. Now you're shooting turkeys at 100 yards with a shotgun.
The shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. You can't leave it. And go? All right, guys. Isaac says I talk too quiet in the beginning.
In the beginning.
All right, I got to start louder. Deer Shop Podcast, episode 93. It is May 3rd. It's May 3rd.
It's the third Saturday.
It's the 3rd. This is Turkey Hunting Success Stories. This is the second kind of version of this we've done. We had Ethan and Dylan a couple weeks ago talk about their birds. We're joined in the studio, Drake Honigman of WildTine TV. What's going on, Drake?
Not much.
This is your 4th time. I went through and counted on my chart. This is the 4th time you've been on the podcast.
Well, you keep a little tally next to
I have a chart of anyone who's ever been on the podcast and like how many times they've been on. And
that's kind of cool. Fourth time. Huh?
This is your 4th time.
Big announcement. Busch Light Apple is back.
Yeah, Busch Light Apple's back. We bought a bunch
one of my favorite tracking beers.
I never got the rave for them when they first came out.
It has to do with just the taste of apple in the fall when you're tracking beers in October, or tracking deers with beers in October. Because I wouldn't drink them normally.
Yeah.
Per se. I'm drinking them today because Ethan bought a bunch and I'm drinking all the ones he bought. But.
And it's probably been 2-3 years since we've had them regularly.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it's 2 years ago.
I know it's the heyday of our track job deer parties. We were all slamming apples. And that was probably like my 7-pointer.
Yeah, 22.
Dad's buck kind of
21.
21 then?
21. It's 21.
21, yeah.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago. But then again,
I don't know. But it's back for limited time.
Limited edition.
In the spring for some reason.
We're also joined by Danny Svoboda. Danny, this is your 2nd time on the podcast.
2.
You were here for the infamous episode 69, Buck Stories Part 1, where we
Weird that it was episode 69.
Yeah, where we drank way too much whiskey, and I was drinking Ham's beers that night, and we smoked cigars, and I vomited all over my yard, and then I vomited in my bed the next morning, and yeah, it was a good time.
It's
my
what
wife was
are made
big,
of, man.
My wife was big mad.
Still big mad.
Mine too. I wish you could have heard the conversation when I said I'm going to come over to Caleb's and do a podcast, and there was a long pause.
She sat you down and had a talk.
Oh yeah. But I think she figured it was early enough in the day where I couldn't get into too much trouble. Where last time, it was kind of like, you're right on that cusp, right? And she knew I was bringing that bottle over. I was like, okay, the guys are gonna like this, and that bottle was gone.
You guys liked it.
We drank the entire bottle
liked it too well.
during the podcast.
It was gone in the blink of an eye, and it was a good time, man.
It was. I very much enjoyed it. Unfortunately for me, it is the 2nd most listened to podcast that we ever had. When it comes to the streaming, that's the 2nd most. And everyone just has to hear me go further, spiral down into that bottle of Traverse City whiskey, which is, if you're watching on YouTube, the bottle's up there above Danny's head.
And it's weird, the YouTube video got cut halfway because you guys were too drunk to operate cameras.
Yeah.
How long was the podcast?
Like 2 hours, and a half, 3 hours. It was a long. It might have been. Oh man, it might be like the 2nd longest one we ever did.
Probably.
I think you and Jay did a Western one that was like 3 hours once. But
we did like a GoPro one too that was super long.
Yeah.
In the early days.
Yeah. That's back before we had this system kind of figured out. I remember Drake, your first podcast, we recorded back to back 2 cameras in there for some reason. I don't know what the story on that was.
That was another technical difficulty podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have been both here for technical difficulties today. Hopefully, our board was malfunctioning before the podcast started.
It's working now.
There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm your host, Caleb Simon. I'm joined by Isaac in studio as well. The weather today is just absolutely
I was waiting for some sort of break in the rain, and there just hasn't been. It has rained for 12 straight hours.
Yeah, I woke up at 4:30 and I let the dog out, and the deck was wet. And I made coffee, and I'm looking outside, and I pull up the radar on my phone, and it's completely green, going to hit us in like 45 minutes. And I went back to bed. I was like, I'm not going to sit the early morning out in this rain. But then I ended up, we'll talk about it later. I ended up going out hunting later and had a decent hunt, but got very wet. But yeah, God, does it suck out there?
No,
It's miserable.
Me and my buddy went out this morning, and we heard a couple birds on the limb and whatnot, and we ended up. It was his first turkey he shot at Jake.
I was gonna ask off camera, like, that was his first turkey, right? Because he was very fired up about shooting Jake.
He was pumped up.
That's good.
We were on the Gobbler this morning, but we ended up, he hit the ground and went the other way, so we did some driving around and saw some turkeys out in private property that we got permission on, and boot scooted out there and called a couple times, and they worked right in for him, so.
Nice.
See, that's what I like about turkey hunting. I like that, obviously the best hunting is that first hour, but you can just get in the truck at 10 a.m.
Go look around.
Just drive around to all the farms you have permission and find a field bird and still have fun with it. I mean, that's the cool part about it. Why aren't you in Michigan right now with the rest of the guys?
Back-to-back trips, man. I went to Virginia beginning of May, and then we did the PA trip, which that was like a week long. I was off work for 3 days. I don't know. I was just kind of
your homie's got to work.
So I got a job,
So the owner of your company is out there hunting. You're staying here.
The owner's son. It's a lot different.
Let's get that right.
Yeah.
But yeah, them boys, they're all out there, and they look like they're loaded with turkeys.
They kill yet? Yeah.
Not that I know of yet, but if it's anything like it was last year, like it's literally not out of the realm of them all coming home with turkeys. Like it's loaded with them.
I'm jealous.
So the video that WildTine posted, the turkey camp, was that Michigan last year, or was that somewhere else?
No, it shows a cabin.
Yeah,
the
turkey camp.
That was Michigan last year.
Last year, yeah.
Okay, so they're redoing that trip again right now.
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, because WildTine's a year behind. You guys are posting all your turkey stuff right now.
Yep, it's all the stuff that's getting posted this year is from last year.
Perfect.
So, I wish I was down. Wish I was up there too, but it just.
I will say I've talked about this before, probably on the podcast, and I know I've talked about it with my brothers. Like, I miss being at your guys' age where you can do we used to go. We'd start with trout camp.
You used to drive in a big circle.
Yeah, we'd start with trout camp. Then we go to West Virginia for turkey season. Then we go back to PA for turkey season. And then we go to Southern Ohio for turkey season. So, our spring would have, like you said, 4 or 5 trips in there.
Yeah.
But, now I can only do one.
Oh, to be 22 again.
Man.
22.
How old are you guys?
I'm 23.
You're 23?
Dear
Yeah, they're all in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Man, am I the old man in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
How old are you, Dan?
Woo! Are you really going to
35? I don't know.
Thank you.
I know you. I know you have kids that are a little bit
I
older.
appreciate that very much. I'm turning 40.
Ooh.
I'm turning 40. Bro.
It could be worse.
4-0.
Well, of course it could always be worse, but man, I tell you what, it's the years go fast. Enjoy every moment, my friend.
There has been nothing that has gone faster than this last year for me.
I tell you.
Yeah, you're not lying.
So speaking of trout camp, how was it for you? You went 2, right?
What do you mean?
No,
I didn't go the first time.
Oh, so okay, because I know your guys went once with our your guys' group went with our group of guys, the early one.
Yep.
But we didn't go on that one. Apparently, I guess you didn't either. I thought you did.
Yeah, I sat on that because we do some turkey hunting in Virginia. Mm-hmm. Some years it was Andy Walters, kind of like bachelor party almost.
Yeah, were you on that?
Yeah.
I whistled at you
What's that?
at McDonald's.
Oh, okay. I wasn't in that truck.
Okay,
I
so
saw these videos of my 4-wheelers on the truck, and they left before us the day before. We left Friday.
Where
morning.
was I going? Oh, no, we were going to Indianapolis. I was going to FDIC, the firefighter convention, and I'm sitting at the drive-thru because Bill Disbro needed his fucking coffee. Mm-hmm. He needed one McDonald's coffee, one large McDonald's
and some
coffee.
road pop.
So we weren't drinking yet. It was 9 a.m. So we were stopped at McDonald's there, and like they had me pull up to wait for the coffee, which is weird. But then I'm looking at all these 4-wheelers on this trailer, and I thought it was my buddy Nielsen. So I was taking the Snapchat not to send to you guys, but to send to my buddy Nielsen, because he had mentioned that he was going to go riding in West Virginia that weekend. So I figured, that's probably him. And as I'm taking the video, I look to my left and I see like Walters, and I saw Nathan Gray and some other people. So I like rolled my window on a little bit, and and they all like nonchalantly turn over and they just keep walking. Like they don't make a spectacle of it. And then like, I'm not friends with any of them really on Snapchat. I don't think. Yeah, the ghosts. Grandma's ghost as well.
That's a fun trip. We usually. I mean, I've been down there, done it before. We haven't went in the past couple of years. At least I haven't, and got an invite, so I took over, and I was like, I'm going down. It's always fun.
I heard you guys missed like 4 turkeys or something.
Yeah, we had some good weather. Monday morning, we all kind of went out. Andy actually got a turkey. It was his bachelor party, so it was pretty badass that he killed one.
That's cool.
My gun misfired. I've been having some problems with my gun over the past couple of years. And,
why don't you buy a new one?
Because I bought it last year.
Damn.
It's been flipped around. I mean, it's a used gun. It's been throughout my family. But I bought it last year, misfired on a gobbler for me last year. And then this year it did again. But I think I got it all figured out now. But, and then, 3 other guys.
Yeah, so what's the story with the misses?
I'm pretty sure I was over oiling and over lubing my action and trigger assembly. And
so yours was a misfire. What was up with the other misses?
They just
shooting TSS at 100.
No, they're good shots. One guy, Clint, we go down there with. He had a bird working perfect. I think it was 35 yards. He said he shot, rolled it, went to get up to go over there, and it gets up and starts flying off. So he shoots again and tried chasing it down, nothing. And then a guy that was with me. My shot was probably 50 yards at my time, and I was pretty confident with the loads I'm shooting. I've made some 50, 60-yard shots and everything. And I went to shoot, and my gun misfired. Well, he was standing next to me and cracked off a round, too, but he ended up missing. And then Nathan's bird, it came up. They were on this food plot on this top, and it came up, and all he saw was his head telescoping, so he shot and just...
didn't hit it.
Missed it, but there's birds everywhere.
I was just saying, Jesus Christ, there's birds everywhere down there.
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool. I got my yearly dose of Nathan at trout camp. For like 1 hour.
We don't get to see him.
We hung out with him in that pavilion.
He's an animal, man.
He's something else. He puts work ethic. He puts all our work ethics to shame. That's for damn sure. Do you guys do any mushroom hunting?
A little bit. I usually just do it with my dad.
Because I know right now that's one of the big topics. That's why I have it written down in my script here. A lot of dudes are out mushroom hunting like right now in this rain because I guess ground temperature is like perfect.
Yeah, there's something with it getting cold at night and warm during the day, and then it being damp.
I got messages
that it's perfect conditions right now.
I got messages today of mushroom hunting from Ethan, Pavlik, Ryan Kostecki, and Petri. They're all out.
And of course,
right now.
Petri found the mother lode. Yeah. There's mushrooms this big.
The double beer canners.
It just looks like this. There's 50 mushrooms in this little spot.
Massive mushrooms.
And it would be Petri too. But
I know. Dude, that dude, like Pavlik said in our one chat, he just runs into giant bucks up there, catches the biggest walleye in the world, giant mushrooms.
Turkeys everywhere.
Find turkeys everywhere. Like, god dang, you know?
Yeah, he's always just doing it somehow.
Northwest, man. But no, those warm days that we had, coupled with the nights too, those temperatures, and then the moisture content, you know, it's absolutely perfect.
Growing mushrooms and growing grass. I've been mowing my grass every 2 days. Still growing.
Yeah, so I mowed my grass the other day right before that first thunderstorm we had, and like we got all that rain overnight, and I'm looking out my window the next morning. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's dandelions are already this high. Like, it doesn't even look like I mowed it, but I won't be able to mow my yard now for at least a week or more because.
So how's that in the professional world of mowing and doing all this shit that you do? Is it terrible right now? Are people making you mow twice?
They're still working. I don't really mow as much with my job. We're more or less like on the landscape kind of crew,
hardscaping kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're doing mowing. They're mowing still. It's slowed down a little bit, but the grass has grown so much with the rain and everything. If it's dry enough, you're not tearing up yards. They're getting out there and doing it. But I don't know. I mean, I look for morels usually just when I'm turkey hunting. Like, if I'm out in the woods turkey hunting, I'll look around, and that's usually when I find them.
I would like to find more, but I'm just really bad at it.
They're so good, though.
Like, they are delicious. They like. Luckily, I have good friends like Dylan that find a lot of them, and like
He'll
I
bring
can,
them over.
Yeah, and I can eat some of Dylan's because I don't think I actually have ever. This might make me sound like I suck, but whatever. I don't think I've ever found a morel mushroom in Ohio.
Really?
I found them in West Virginia. So when we go down to the Gore Camp, they got them down there. But for some reason, I cannot find them here in Ohio. And I think I tell myself it's because I'm always looking for sheds. Like I'm always scanning. Like when I'm out turkey hunting and stuff, I'm always scanning for sheds, and I'm not looking for mushrooms. I need to start looking for mushrooms.
It's two different worlds. I mean,
Right.
When you're shed hunting, you're scanning out. When you're mushroom hunting, you got to be honed in on what's right in front of you.
Yeah, I've only ever found a couple, just stumbled upon them.
For me, it's mainly you're looking for the right type of tree, and not only the right type of tree, but in its where it's at in its life cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're not looking for newly dead elm trees, apple, like it's all on that. So if you're not looking for that and you're keyed in on something else, you're gonna you could have seriously. In those years, you could have probably walked past
100%.
a honey hole, God knows how many times.
I guarantee
and
it.
it's never even known it.
Too bad they don't grow around dead ash trees, because let me tell you,
yeah, I know,
we
dude.
have more dead ash trees here in Chatham Township, Ohio, than anywhere else on planet fucking Earth.
We still have some live ash trees.
That's a topic for another day, but we have ash trees that have died and came back to life, which I don't quite understand.
We'll have to bring in a tree guy one of these days.
Like you've actually paid attention to it?
So the ones up by our fire pit at the lake,
They're all by the lake. That's why.
those ones for a couple years there, maybe 10 years ago, were leafless and dead. Branches falling off,
And they
bark
have the
falling
boar
off.
like marks in them and everything.
And then my dad just didn't cut them down because they're all around our fire pit, and it's like that'd be a mess if we cut down. So we'll wait one more year. And then over time, like they start getting thin leaves, sparse leaves.
They're budding.
And now they're back. Like they're fully leafed out. Like
Live
nothing
trees.
happened.
All the trees next to the fire pit up at the lake.
That
They're
is
all
weird.
ash.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
There's
That's
one
really
elm and then a whole bunch of ash.
Yeah, so if anybody's got a tree guy, I don't know if we have
Well,
a tree guy.
I was thinking about that earlier too. There's two experts we need to get on right now. A
Tree
tree guy
guy?
would be sweet.
Definitely talk about oaks and shit like that, too.
I want to talk to a guy about the turkey population. I want some kind of wild turkey Ohio biologist.
Not just...
not just like a proclaimed expert. Like I want
An
someone,
actual-
I want an actual expert, someone who went to school and college and like knows
studies
something.
them and nesting and this
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
So, tree guy, turkey guy.
Yeah.
We need it.
If you guys have any suggestions, or if you're listening and you're one of those people, let me know.
Reach out. We'll have you on.
The last thing before we talk about our turkey killing stories. Oh shit, what I do? I'm gonna read through some YouTube comments. We haven't done that in a while. It's always a
People
good time.
love hearing our YouTube comments.
It's a good time to read through some YouTube comments. Yeah, Ethan, if you get a chance, sorry, listeners, can you shut that door when you get a chance, Ethan?
The ghost blew it open.
Yeah, Grandma's ghost opened this shop door. William King 5063 a couple days ago. The DNR sucks and should be disbanded, and their special rights should be given to no one in a free country.
Let's talk about this for a second because this goes a long
It's
way.
on the CJ Alexander.
Yeah, it
videos.
goes along with the CJ Alexander stuff. We have so many sympathetic people towards poachers.
Yeah.
Convicted poacher saying these are just wild animals. These are just blah, blah, blah. We pay for them. Private property. Yada, yada, yada.
Well,
And this guy's kind of in the same ballpark.
So we talked about that a little bit pre-podcast. Me and Danny talked about that at Isaac, where you were like walking through social media and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and X and whatever the fuck all these things are, TikTok. Anyone can get famous and can get followers and
Build a following.
They can build a following, and they're not vetted. So when you're in the media, so you work for CNN, Fox, or a magazine or whoever, you're in some kind of media setting, you get vetted. You have to apply for the job. You have to have a resume. You have to not have controversy. You have to not be all these. They check these boxes to make sure
Yeah,
that
they
they're not
vet your
these
whole life.
things. But if you're on social media like these guys, all these people that make these comments supporting CJ Alexander, these poachers, they're just people, and that's how they feel, and they have a platform to where they can shout, "Yeah, fuck the ODNR."
Yeah, green jeans.
Yeah. I find it interesting.
We just get a lot of those comments.
A lot. It's
that was
I'm
on your
surprised.
guys' podcast?
No, it was on a CJ Alexander podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one of the videos.
Every couple of weeks, I like to go through and read off recent comments because there's always some good shit.
Yeah.
Video of a Jake we had on there the other day, like a short of a Jake, some guy, Frey Hollywood. I have seen 2 jakes whoop a gobbler's ass, keeping him from hens. Jakes and hens went into the woods, leaving the gobbler in the middle of the field. 2 soft yelps, and a few minutes later, that gobbler was dinner. We've seen that a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen that a lot, but jakes can be bastards.
Yeah, jake games.
And they can push gobblers away.
Just like deer, man. Like, you know, the demeanor of the deer, you know what I mean? Like, you could have that asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those
He's a
basket
small
rack
buck.
8s with
Yeah,
no
he's a
rack
small
with their
buck.
giant bodies.
Yeah, he just
All the bucks I
wants
kill.
to fight, wants to fight. Those big mature bucks are like, nah, I'm good, you know? So, same kind of thing.
Yeah, and you get the jakes that gang up on the gobbler. 3 jakes, 1 gobbler.
Yeah.
They whoop his ass. We have video evidence of it from a couple years ago.
This is one that I really wanted to get to because I want to talk about it a little bit. We've talked about it a little bit last couple podcasts, but Tyler Hutzel said, and this is on the comment of Ethan's video where he shot his gobbler last week, you got to rock a 12 gauge and not a single shot, man. Speaking of that, though, I want to talk about TSS for a little bit here for a minute. I don't let's just start with what gun are you using? What loads?
It's a Benelli 12 gauge Super Black Eagle. I shoot 3.5 Federal tungsten, 8 shot.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of pellets.
That's a 100-yard gun.
I always make the joke if they made 6s, I'd shoot them. But I don't know. I never really had a 410. This is kind of the shotgun I grew up turkey hunting with and just always had. So I used to shoot XRs, but I always shot 3.5s. I've always shot like high loads, like I don't know, just never did it any other way.
The Winchester XR 3.5.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
used to
what
shoot.
I shoot from in my gun.
So now you're shooting the tungsten 3.5 inch. How much shot is that? That's got to be, 2 ounces a shot or something?
Yeah, I think it is around that.
So probably like 10 times as much as in the 410.
Yeah.
And the turkey you shot this year, how much damage did it do?
It rolled it. Like, it was a 40-yard shot, probably the bird I shot this year, and it rolled it. It didn't really, it flopped around a little bit. It wasn't like a massacre, really, but I patterned it last year. I bought these rounds. They're fucking $84.
Yeah, $84 for 4 or 10 of them or
Yeah,
something?
you get 5 of them in a box. It breaks the bank. But
You're telling me, hold on. Just pause right now.
Yeah, that's
You're
sick.
telling me
That's-
it's $84 for 5?
yeah, dude.
That's over.
What?
My God.
That's
That's
$16 a
insane.
shot.
Yeah.
$16 a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in the hole last year.
You can. Oh my God.
I don't know. I had, luckily,
I didn't realize they were that expensive.
Yeah.
Like I knew they were expensive, but I was thinking like $8 a round or something.
That's 16. That's over $16 a shot.
Color me shocked, man. Holy moly.
Luckily, I had some Finn gift cards, so
I mean, yeah.
got 'em a little. But
Well, the thing is, once your gun's patterned here in Ohio, I
Yeah.
mean, that box, you buy a box of 5, it should last you 5 years, theoretically.
That almost costs as much as my shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We'll
My
get
shotgun was $109. 25 years ago, but still, it was $109 for the shotgun.
yeah, I mean, the prices for them are ridiculous. I hear a lot of people like can't kill them any other way, but I've killed turkeys with my longbeard XRs.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like you can kill them with them, but last year really opened my eyes. I fell in the hole. I bought some. And I wanted to shoot them together. So
No wonder you're not going on trips and you're working. You got to buy $84 boxes of shotgun shells.
I shot my XRs in tungsten. I think I was at like 50 yards. I put a target out there, and I got video of it and shooting it and just the difference in the pattern. And I shot it at 30, and it held true 30, 20, and then even further out. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to roll with them. I mean, I bought 2 boxes my first year. And then this year I
Did to
find
take out a
another
new
box.
credit card application for that?
Yeah, I had to file for a new credit.
Damn.
So, and I don't know a lot about the tungsten. Is it the pattern that's better, or is it just the power, the retained like power at range with that
I
heavier
think
loads?
it's just the power.
The velocity.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about tungsten from a fishing standpoint, it's a denser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can get a heavier load with a smaller size. So you can essentially get like a number 7 or a number 6 is going to equal like a number 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's why these 410 dudes are shooting number 9 shot.
Yeah.
Because that little pellet weighs as much as, say, a lead 6 shot.
Yes.
Which
they're
is
getting
funny
the
because
same-
lead is something that we, growing up, we always considered lead as that thing that's just like a small piece of lead this big weighs 20 pounds,
Yeah.
where a piece of aluminum this big only weighs.
But then tungsten's even heavier.
right.
than
So
Yeah.
tungsten's even heavier than
Oh,
lead,
yeah.
which is wild.
Oh,
So
yeah.
basically, you get the same pattern, but you get to use smaller BBs and have that same amount of power, so you have more.
And just from
a denser pattern.
Yeah, and from the like, would you rather be hit with a 100-mile-an-hour baseball or a 60-mile-an-hour bowling ball?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that physics, I guess,
the
behind
momentum
it,
and
you know?
stuff.
Yeah, that knockdown power. But
I didn't do much research really about it before I bought them, and I bought them and they shot good, so I kept rolling with it. I would still shoot the XRs. I killed plenty of turkeys with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not bashing them at all. I'm not saying
No,
that's what I use.
So I was going to ask you next, Dan. What's your load? What's your gun?
3-inch XR, number 5.
What kind of gun you shooting out of?
12 gauge Mossberg. I think it's a 590.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one you can customize with all kinds of
Yep.
shit.
Oh yeah, I've got the pistol grip on it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
got some aftermarket stuff on it, but it's a tack driver, man. I mean, personally, for me, I've killed a lot of turkeys. I've already given away my age, which is painful.
So you've been hunting for longer than us.
You're twice as old as you're twice as old as Drake. So.
I know.
Almost.
I don't. In my memory, I can't recall a time that I've killed a turkey further than 30 yards, 35.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you're living that old school mentality still.
Yeah,
Call 'em
yeah.
close, kill 'em.
It's they're either gonna do what I want them to do, or I'm going to hunt another day.
That's why I brought Danny on the podcast. I needed some backup for my old school
Hey
way
man,
of thinking.
I mean, if you got it, flaunt it, I guess. But that's just me, and nothing against anybody else that thinks differently. But
Well, I mean, to be honest, if we go back 10, 15 years when I was getting into turkey hunting heavily, 20 years ago now, when I was a teenager getting into turkey hunting, if TSS and that stuff was available,
Oh, we would have had.
I would have 100%
Yeah,
because
man.
that's back when there was birds everywhere, and I'm shooting at every gobbler that comes in, no matter what, and I was just in a different, way back then. But as I've gotten older and the bird population has gone down, depending on who you talk to, I think it has in our area. Less birds. I'm older. I enjoy the hunt more. Like you said, you're tagged out now, and you're kind of hating it.
yeah, it's a bittersweet thing. I mean, there's not really any other words other than it's bittersweet. I mean, I miss those early mornings, but it's funny though, like in the heat of the moment, if you're having a tough season, you're just like, God, I just wish that bird would just cooperate and just be done with this, and we'll move on to the next thing. But I guess that's the age-old dilemma, right?
That's the tipping point that I'm at right now. Like, I've enjoyed these battles the last couple days, but if I don't
you
kill
wanna
this,
get it done?
Yeah, if I don't kill this bird soon, like it's going to start being like reeling in all the slack of not getting it done, and then so it's a tipping point. Isaac, you don't even hunt turkeys, but what gun do you use?
I have a New England Firearms Partner pump
Right on.
that I bought when I was, 10, 12 years old for $100.
And
We've killed some birds with it over the years.
you
Killed some
shoot.
deer.
I think we shoot Nitro Mag 3-inch out of that, right? Because it doesn't shoot 3.5.
Yeah, it's just a 3-inch.
With the Remington Nitro Mags, the green ones.
Or the
turkeys.
old Winchester. Not XR.
Not XR. There's another one.
The cheap ones that we'd have back in the day.
Yeah, I forget what those
It was like a black box of 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
Super cheap Winchester X or something.
What do you mean he doesn't turkey hunt?
He doesn't turkey hunt.
I just don't go out that much.
When was the last time you had a gun in your hand for turkeys? I mean, it's got to be 5-6 years ago or more.
I might have bought a tag in West Virginia the last couple times we've went.
Yeah, just
Maybe.
out of just
maybe
for the
not.
fact that no, I think you were running camera only.
Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't killed a turkey for many years.
No, but you're the only guy sitting here that's killed one with his bow.
That's true.
That's true.
In the fall. Never in the spring.
Isaac's our camera guru. He don't care if he shoots one or not.
Speaking of TSS, and to bring up your recent ramblings on social media,
Yeah, I've been going hard in the paint.
do you know how far Leopard shot that bird at this year? I know he just posted that he killed one yesterday.
Both those birds I think he killed this year were like inside 20 yards, inside 25.
Because I know he's
I haven't talked to him about a second bird yet.
But his video from last year was
yeah,
a
it was
far
like
shot.
yeah, he said 50. I think it was 60. I don't know.
You can never really tell, especially
No,
on
turkey
video.
filming turkey hunt. I love filming turkey hunting, but it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
And self filming is like I've been That's why I don't kill birds anymore. I guess that's a conversation for later in this podcast. But trying to self-film and get a bird on film perfect is so fucking hard.
It's such a pain in the ass.
It's so fucking hard.
No matter which way it goes. Like,
Even with the blind sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Like they're coming this way, so you got to adjust your shit, open this window, and they see it's just fucking mess.
I mean, people make it look easy, which seems like it would be easy, but then it's not.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the TV shows, like blind, turkey flies down, decoys, pecks decoy, shoots it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
Rarely ever happens that way.
Yeah, I mean,
For some people it does, but not us.
Self-filming deer is kind of one thing. You're in a fixed area. You kind of know your shots, whatnot. But like turkeys, you're moving around. They're moving around like crazy, and you're. It is hard. It's tough. Like,
Has that ever happened to us?
Self-film turkey?
No, where we set up a blind and decoys. Turkey flies down, runs into decoys, and we shoot it.
Never for us.
Never.
I've killed a lot of birds.
Some people kill them every year like that.
I've killed a lot of birds like hunting by
close
myself,
this year for me.
or even hunting with you, where the birds have like I set up really close to the roost. This is the tactic that leopard's been using lately. I set up really close to the roost when I know where they're roosting, and they just fly right down. Like one or two yelps in the morning, they drop down 30 yards, bang. Like I've done that before, but I've never had them fly out into the field and strut around a decoy before. I've had Jakes do it, but
It's
never
almost got to be
gobbler.
hard to do that in a one bird state. Set up right under them, they fly down, shoot them, there you're done for the year in 2 minutes.
If we had birds roosting on our property, I would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have those spots where it's
Yeah.
Every
after
year they just do it. Yeah, it's done. It's
Like some of our,
deal.
like a couple of our turkey on spots are really good, but they're not fly down spots. Like the birds haven't been roosting on ours lately for some reason. They're roosting on the one neighbor's. So I watched the neighbor shoot it because he set up underneath the roost. And then this farm I'm hunting now, the birds do not roost on that farm, but they show up every day between 8 and 10 a.m. So like I can hunt them later, but I can't hunt them off the fly down. So,
And to me, hunting them off the fly down is the only thing that's worth it.
you know,
Like
like
they're gobbling in the tree, they fly down, they're gobbling, call them in. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting there till 11 a.m.
I like playing. I'll
Waiting them
sit
out.
there till 11 if they're cat and mousing and they're gobbling.
Yeah.
Like, I like that, but
Yeah.
You get in your head a lot with turkeys too. You're
oh
Yeah.
it's crazy.
when in reality, you could just sit there and kill them in 2 hours. They'll just come in.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
I mean, think about this. Everyone sitting at this table is now filming their hunts, but imagine if we didn't film our hunts. Like if I didn't have a camera with me, you could sit in one spot with your gun ready and just call once, and eventually that bird's gonna come find you and you'll shoot him.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to get it.
Or if they're held up, you can just sneak up to them and shoot them.
Right, but you can't do that if you're
We
self-filming.
have a friend that's really good at doing that to turkeys.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't want to.
Name drop.
No, because I'm just
He's just really good at making sure he kills them turkeys.
And this person, he's obviously the best turkey hunter that we know, and he's out of state right now hunting turkeys, and he's trying to kill his turkey in his third state this year. He's a crazy good turkey hunter. But I was thinking about the other day when I called that bird in 8 different times, and I could just never quite line up my camera and get the gun, and he was a little bit thick. He's with the Jake, and he showed me his
He'd
head
have been
for
in
3
the
seconds.
fridge by the time.
Dylan would have killed him the first time he came in. Dylan would have just killed him because he has no camera and he don't give a fuck. He was snuck up there and just shot that turkey.
Yeah.
And he's a killer, and he has
Very
a turkey
efficient.
in his
He's very
fridge.
efficient at it.
And I'm sitting here with this camera in my hand and no turkey in my fridge.
Camera in your hand and a thumb up your butt.
Yeah, for real.
It is tough. And
Filming turkeys is tough.
you don't realize until you do it.
Yeah.
Like it's a pain in the ass.
Super
And
tough.
it's one of those things where the pros just make it look so fucking easy. You know, you're watching Drury's or Seek One or like obviously you got the Bomar, that asshole. You know, like the bird just fly down and there's 7 of them strutting on knocking the decoy over like. You're in a redneck blind. You got breakfast it's like, what the hell, man?
All right. So let's sum up your last thought. TSS.
Boo.
Call them in close and kill them. We don't want it. We do not want to hear you shooting a bird at 80 yards. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I don't think it's cool. It's not. Cool.
No, I mean, everyone hunts their own way and hunts legally and hunts this and hunts that. But like, as soon as you tell me like, oh, it was a great back and forth battle, and then I finally had my opportunity and I shot him at 67 yards. And I'm like,
Sorry, I had to
Jesus
laugh.
Christ, you know how many turkeys I've had at 67 yards? Hundreds. Like that's not killing them to me, you know. But
Now you're killing them, but
yeah, they're killing them because I'm not paying $84 for 5 rounds.
What's your furthest shot at a turkey?
I've actually killed
35.
30 maybe.
Yeah.
I've shot at 2. I know for a fact that I've shot at 2 over 50 in my life. And I missed them both. But and we talked about this pre-podcast for you guy here. I can pattern my gun at 50. I was with Isaac the other day taking some video. I shot my gun at 50 at the range, and I had like 14 pellets in the head at 50.
Like
but when I do that on a bird in real life, they don't die. They just literally don't die. They just fly off. You know, so I don't know. Obviously, I'm losing velocity because I'm not using TSS. I'm using the XR. I have a Remington 870 3.5, and I use a Winchester XR 3.5. But I just don't know if it's the velocity or what. But I know the birds are getting hit because feathers are flying.
They're just not dying.
I've done it twice in my life. Feathers fly, bird flies away.
Feathers fly,
No,
bird don't
maybe
die.
a little bit of blood, but like, I don't know.
And who knows?
Not enough to be lethal.
Those turkeys could be dying in a day, in an hour.
Actually, now that I think about it, I've done it 3 times. I did it last year at Gores too, because those birds saw us and they like the one hit the fence and I shot at him. The white winged bird, his feathers up there somewhere. I shot at him at like 50.
Oh, I remember.
A little bit of blood, but
that was it.
no. So I just told myself, I finally got to the point where I'm like, I just got to quit the nonsense. My gun's not capable of killing him at that distance. So,
And there's another thing, like, yes, you might have put a lethal shot on them, but if they can fly, it's a bird.
And if they fly 100 yards.
Yeah, and you're not blood trailing turkey. The turkey has barely any blood in its body, and definitely not enough to leave a legit blood trail. So if you're finding them hundreds of yards away, it's pretty much just from luck.
And we've done that before on accident. Like I remember me and Spaniel shot that bird however many years ago. We ended up finding it in a brush pile like 200 yards away. Yeah, got lucky. But I mean, I like to shoot them close.
Yeah.
I like to enjoy it. You know, just me. Last couple comments, then we'll get to the stories. Jeff Coons, another great episode, guys. This is 4 days ago, so it must have been on the last one. Another great episode, guys. Caleb, you're doing a great job restraining yourself and not jumping in constantly. Thanks for a better show.
Caleb,
Nice job, really. Yeah,
Caleb had a cycle of podcasts where he was just talking the whole time.
I like this one. Tommy Madden, congratulations on the birds. The 410 stories were hilarious. Great show. Loop Kopikatokowski. I don't know what that means.
If you got that right, that's pretty good.
It's LUPCOPETKO Love the videos, boys. Love from Canada. So he's Canadian, eh? Zach Jacoby Hunt. Unsuspected shout out. Hey, fellas. Hey, Zach Jacoby.
Who is that?
He's the king of TikTok.
Oh, that's
He commented?
Yeah.
That's
that
the guy we're
born
talking
again or
the PA sheds.
He was the one that was on Working Class Bowhunter,
Yeah.
the king of TikTok.
He's from Iowa, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
His buddy is the one that shot that buck. We talked about a couple podcasts ago. His buddy's the one that shot that buck, that 200-inch typical Pennsylvania buck, thought that someone else had taken it. And so he shot the buck. He watched it bed down. The buck got up, went off onto public property. He went and got the game warden, went and blood tracked the deer, found a gut pile. So then they started this investigation that someone had stole his buck. On the flip side of that, there's this other group of guys, and you might have seen it today because it started being posted all over Facebook today.
They posted a long form video on YouTube. About
Yes,
it. That's
today.
why. Whitetail.
The Whitetail Season is the guy's name. Found the sheds off of said buck.
Okay, so
I don't know if you've seen the videos going on Facebook where the guy finds a PA 200-inch shed.
I
Like,
saw that.
massive,
I saw that.
That's the
massive
guy.
fucking shed.
That's the guy.
That's the buck that Zach Jacoby's buddy shot and thought that someone else tagged.
Okay.
It lived and then shed his antlers. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so it's a big whole saga. But I was going to ask you guys if you've seen those videos because that guy, he posted some like TikTok and Instagram reels.
But
But
now
then today,
a YouTube video was posted.
he's got a YouTube video of him picking up those sheds. And they're incredible. I mean, they're
Oh yeah.
They almost look unreal. Like
like
it was
insane. But there's a lot of people that I guess know about this deer, and I was going to get your guys' thoughts on this. Like, why would you post that? Like, why would you post? You can post the sheds in your shop or your garage or your barn.
That's a video you post after.
But why would you
killed him.
post the location of where you found them with the mountains in the background and like,
Yeah.
PA public land?
You see a rock or a laurel
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
I
and-
guarantee you someone will see.
Somebody
it and know
knows.
where
There's
that's
at least 100 different people clicked on that guy's Facebook, his wife's Facebook, his mom's Facebook, his dad's Facebook, his brother's Facebook,
Knows where he lives,
his brother's
knows where he
girlfriend's Facebook, found out exactly the town they live in. Oh, look, there's public land 31 minutes away.
There it is.
Damn, like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
There it is.
Tell me.
I did actually contact them and asked if they wanted to be in a podcast, and they said yes, they would, and they would come on and talk about whatever because they have a YouTube channel. They've killed a bunch of decent PA bucks. They've done good. But he said talking about the sheds is off the table, and I'm like, well, then at that point, I don't really have anything to talk about. I want to talk about the sheds.
I want to hear about the shit. I wouldn't be posting that video until after I knew that buck was dead, whether it was my hands or somebody else's.
It's kind of hard though at the same time because we're making content. So like, I mean that's a big ordeal. So like you want to, but at the same time like you don't want to.
Yeah.
Here's
You're
the-
excited. I mean, the buck's alive.
The
you
content
know.
is a lot more valuable if he kills him in 6 months.
Yeah, I
Well,
will agree with that.
I agree with Drake a little bit because I'm guilty of sometimes posting shit I shouldn't.
Like jumping the gun on stuff. I am too.
But think about this. That content is still relevant when the buck's dead.
Yeah.
So like we think it needs, like we're excited about it, so we gotta get out now. But like in all honesty, a 200-inch set of sheds is relevant anytime.
Yeah.
So like the buck could get killed by someone, and then you could tell the story.
The problem is he's hurting his chances at killing him by posting that shit because there's going to be other people going after him now.
I mean,
people know things.
It's incredible to me that he would sit there with the information that he has and be like, you know what, I'm going to go public with this.
Yeah,
like
that's a big deal.
And then I asked him about Zach Jacoby and the Working Class Bowhunter podcast and everything. He didn't know anything about it. At least he could be lying to me, but he told me I didn't know anything about that story. I never heard that. I'm like, you're running a YouTube channel and finding these world-class sheds, and you don't know that one of the 5 biggest hunting podcasts in the world has been talking about this for like 4 or 5 different episodes. Like, I find that hard to believe.
Brutal.
I didn't tune into any of those podcasts, but I see that guy post a lot. So
I don't know much about him, but we talked about this story and about Zach Jacoby in one of our previous podcasts, and somehow or another he either listened to it or someone sent it to him or whatever. But he
that was the Born Again podcast, right? Yeah, we talked about it with Matt.
Yeah, but what was Matt on here for? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't know. It all kind of melts.
Anyways.
All right, let's talk about turkey killing. All my stuff's done, boys.
I can't talk here because I haven't killed turkey in 10 years.
Who wants to go first?
Let Dan take the.
I'm going to go
Take
first.
the bait.
Old man has to go first.
Old man Dan. Oh shit, we got a nickname set already.
Man, all right. I'm already regretting giving away my age. Lord have mercy.
Don't worry, we got Jay in here. He's almost 50. So yeah.
Why don't you have him in here when I'm in here so I don't have to be the old guy in the room?
We'll get you guys together this fall.
When you're nice and old, we'll wheel you out.
Yeah, exactly.
The shop is wheelchair accessible. That's a fact.
Yeah, where do I start? So I'll admit I have not turkey hunted in the past 3 years. I took it off. We bought a new house. We had a lot going on. Got a new boat, big fisherman, obviously, and there was just a lot. But we have 2 beautiful boys, 8 and 5, and I've had them involved in the outdoors to some capacity for a long time, and I've just had them around it since they've been born.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, so I started hunting when I was 9 years old, and it was something that was kind of, my grandfather hunted, my dad did not hunt, and I kind of picked it up from picking up Grandpa's Field and Stream magazines in the bathroom and just seeing giant bucks, big turkeys, bears, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, it just clicked with me. And so anyways, fast forward here. My oldest is 8, and he's been wanting to go for a minute. And he's been doing good in school, so I said, okay, man, we're like, this is it, we're going, and it just rejuvenated all that excitement in me, and turkey hunting is awesome, hands down. It's obviously much different than hunting whitetails, in a lot of different ways.
I'm glad they're not in the same time of year.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. And so, like, I think I might have, in those 3 years I took off, it was kind of like, you don't know what you're missing until you're like, you know what I mean? So anyways, I started scouting stuff out, getting things prepped, ready, and started finding birds, locating birds, and everything. And so the day before I took him, so the weather this spring has been god awful. And I work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday type deal, the whole thing. And so, typically I'm limited to weekends.
Yeah.
I have to be that weekend warrior. Every now and then, when the timing is right, in this case, Monday, I pulled the trigger on pulling some PTO. I save my PTO for the rut.
Yeah.
I save it for the rut.
Yeah.
That's my time. That's when so, but this was just something where it's like, okay, like this day is going to be the perfect time to take Jax
Weather was good.
It was the perfect time to take Jax out, so I was going to make it happen.
That was the 28th then?
Yeah. 28th.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So we killed him the same day.
All right, right on. Hell
Cool.
yeah. That's awesome.
I didn't even know that.
Realize
Perfect.
that, yeah.
Absolutely. So the day before, I was, bouncing around farm to farm, trying to locate birds and get it all set up. When you talk about a young person, first time ever hunting, I know my son more than anybody. It doesn't take a lot to please him. Mm-hmm. If we would just hear some birds and see something cool, whether it be a hawk, a coyote, something, he would have been happy as all get out and keep that excitement, keep that thing going. So, but me being me, I'm trying to locate birds, trying to set it up, and I had located some birds, but it seemed like they weren't doing quite what I wanted them to do, and there was kind of a lot of it that was up in the air. But the day before I went out, I decided, you know what, I'm going to hunt the day before. More so, it was a scouting mission more than anything. But, I'm like, I'm going to hunt the day before, see what's going on this one parcel. And it ended up being a bust. And I knew it was going to be a bust right out of the gate, just given the terrain. I've been hunting that area for a long time. And so around 8 o'clock, 8:30, I was like, okay, I'm getting up and I'm just being mobile. I'm going to try to figure something out here. I went back to an old reliable area that I've killed birds at before. And I guess it just comes back to, like, don't fix it if it ain't broke, Yeah. Like, the birds tend to be in this area and they like it there. They like to strut there, whatnot. And sure enough, I get to this other area of the farm. I peek my head over the railroad tracks and there's a strutter with 2-3 hens out in the field. And I said, well, there's a bird right there. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, okay, well.
So mission successful. Tomorrow is the day.
Yeah. So I book it out of there. I get to my son's football camp because he loves his football, and I like to be there for him. So we do that whole thing, and I tell him, okay, Dad found a turkey. We're going to see what we can do here. We're going to move a blind and set it up in this field, and we're going to hope for the best for the next morning, but this is going to be the day we're going to go.
Did you guys move the blind that night or the next morning?
No, so after football camp, so the day before, we moved it at around 1 in the afternoon. Okay, gotcha. 1 in the afternoon. And the funny thing is that, so, I had no idea. So sometimes the birds do roost along that field there. So there's a creek bottom along the back side of that, and there are some mature trees, and I have seen them roost along there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But there's also a big block of woods that I don't have permission on the opposite side here. So they do roost in there as well. So, my plan was we're going to get in there. We're going to set the blind up so that way we've got that to kind of conceal some movement for the little guy and everything, and hope for the best. And hopefully either A, they're roosted along that creek bottom there, or B, they're roosted in that block of woods and they're going to come out to that field and see what's going on, what they have done in the past. Mm-hmm. So we get out there and we're hearing birds gobbling at 2 in the afternoon as we were vacating the area after setting up the blinds. So, I felt good. So we get out there. I wake them up at 3:20 in the morning. And now
stay up.
now my son, he is the kind of kid, man, where I was surprised. I don't think he slept. He told me he did, but I don't think he slept. I took him on his first walleye trip out to Lake Erie last year, and he woke me up at 4 a.m. I mean, that's who he is. So he's ready to go. Okay, Dad, you tell me what to do, I'm going to do it, this, that, and the other. So we get ready, rock and roll. And due to the location of the blind, we go in completely dark.
Yeah.
Like no light, no nothing.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah, and so I get him situated in the blind. I'm out there kind of pacing off 20 yards to the decoys and setting them up how I normally have in the past and everything else. Sun starts to rise, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna sit quiet and just listen. And we're listening, and there's nothing happening. So I'm like, okay, give a couple of bubble clucks, little like roosting, calls, and nothing's happening. So I'm like, well, he could have been here yesterday, gone today, type deal, and I didn't know what to think of it. So I'm like, hey, I'm with my son. We're gonna make the most of it and everything. And by the time 6:30-ish rolled around,
which is 30 minutes past legal.
Yeah. But, he's like, oh, Dad, I'm starting to get kind of cold. I'm hungry. I'm like, kid, you just ate a couple hours ago. And you don't think about that stuff when you got kids out there, But, I'm like, I didn't bring snacks with me because I want wrappers. And I told him, I said, turkeys have very good hearing and they have very good eyesight. So you have to be very quiet. You have to be very still. So, he's starting to get in that kind of where it's like, okay, he's getting tired, which is crazy to think of. And, but just as soon as I started to think, about 7:00, I heard one fire. Probably at that time, maybe had to be 150 yards, maybe 200, 150 yards behind us. Mm-hmm. And he heard it too. And he perked up and I perked up and said, hear that? Oh, yeah, Dad, yeah. All right, okay. All right, now we're in business. Now we got a bird. So I give out a few yelps and clucks. Nothing. Okay. So I'm waiting. Then he fires off again. Okay, he's still around. Okay, cool. We're still in the game. So I give a couple. Just let him know we're here. And not immediately I'm like, he's with hens. Mm-hmm. He's with hens. So I'm like, okay. Next time he fires off, I'm gonna start cutting. Like I'm a hen and I'm agitated. There's something going on over here.
Getting aggressive.
Yeah, there's something going on over here. Not super aggressive, but aggressive enough. So I start cutting, and I cut it. Nothing. So I give it like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I start cutting. And I stop. My little boy, so I've got one of those like see-through where you can see out and you can't see in, 180 degrees. My little boy's on the corner back from where they're coming, and he pops his head. He turns around over. He looks at me. He's like, okay. At that point, I knew something was coming. Something was coming our way.
Could have been a possum. Could have been a deer.
Yeah, I'm just like, just stay calm. And then next thing, literally, as soon as that happened, hens are just making a racket, and they are pissed. They're upset, and they are coming right from that side.
You see your decoys,
and they see the decoys, and they go straight to it. And I can hear him gobbling behind, like, "Hey, where are you guys going?"
Yeah,
like,
and he's probably half strutting, like gobbling, running. They do that thing.
Well, you'll see in the GoPro footage from in the blind. You can see him trucking through that mesh, and he's just like, and he just comes in there and he's strutting up, and then a couple more hens come in there, and he just put on such a great show. So I got my bead on him the whole time, and there were so he had 4 hens with him. Mm-hmm. 4.
Damn, ladies' man.
Yeah, and so I had to wait a long time, and I'm glad because it really gave me the opportunity to get a lot of good footage of him in the spread and everything else and whatnot. But, they were so bunched up at the beginning where it's just like, well, I'm rolling. So, I'm getting good footage and everything else and whatnot. And mind you, I at this point right now, I've got the camera rolling. I've got the GoPro rolling. I've already told my kid to shut up. And he's and all other focus is on what's happening in front of me. I almost forgot he was there. You know what I mean? So I got my bead on this turkey, and finally he come around the back end of my Jake decoy and gave me a side shot, full strut. I didn't want to totally blow his fan out when he was facing right at me. So I waited for him to kind of be on the side, and I took the shot and just totally crumbled him at 20 yards.
Nice. Very nice.
And my kid's just like, oh my God. He had his hands over his ears because, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to shoot now.
Yeah.
I just it just was instinct just to make that happen right there. And my kid is freaking out. I just grab him, give him a hug. I'm just like, oh my God, we really made it happen. First hunt ever. And I made sure to tell him, dude, it don't happen like that all the time. So, it's just, and it was just such a cool moment to share with him. And just his excitement just fueled my excitement. Not to say, not to say that it isn't just a special moment to begin with, but it was just so incredible sharing that with him. And then getting it all on film to boot was just so special. And it's a moment I hope, I know I will never forget. And
to have that on film is so awesome.
It was just so amazing. It was so amazing. Now getting back to your whole thing of self-filming turkeys and something always going wrong. So here's the thing, everything is just lining up perfectly. It is way too perfect. So I've got just a shooting stick. I don't have a tripod or a bipod. It is a shooting stick.
Yeah.
And mind you, again, I'm a little rusty. It's been 3 years, you know what I mean? So I've got my 12 gauge with a 3-inch XR5, sitting on this thing, and I'm grabbing the stick instead of the gun, So when I shot, that thing jumped up and it hit my camera, my main camera. So I got everything on camera, but as soon as that shot hit, the camera just slightly turned. And I was just like, if it wasn't for that, it would be 100%.
That happens to us all the time.
It happens to us all the time.
We're hand holding, and you're filming the turkey, and the guy next to you shoots right in your ear, and you're like, ah!
Yeah.
So it happens to us turkey hunting a lot.
If it wasn't for that, it would be 100%. I would say right now it's a solid 97.
Awesome. And we're going to do something.
Yeah, spoiler alert, you'll be able to see it all on this channel because I'm going to put it on the next episode of Turkey Camp Chronicles. So
amazing.
The footage is in a drug bag back here behind on the shelf, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it this week. So you will be able to see the whole
so that'll
story.
be on the channel. Cool.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
To see that.
It was great.
Told the story.
It
great,
was fantastic.
Yeah, you have a good way of articulating it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do it any justice. I can only hope the footage
Can show some of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
show the excitement.
You can talk about it as much as you want. You can film. It's just you don't really get the full effect unless you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is like that. That's all hunting is. And, we try to capture the best moments, but it's hard to sometimes.
Just with my little boy there, just grabbing him. He's like, dude, we really did it, man. Like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Because up until that point, it was like, well, this might be just one of those times where, we're going to be together. And that's the most important thing. But to have it come together like it did was just simply amazing.
That is
it
awesome.
was just amazing. And I hope, if anything, because I'm not naturally a patient person, as much as I'm a fisherman, as much as I am a hunter. I am not a naturally patient person, but I know enough to know that things can go from 0 to 100 in a second.
Yeah. Especially in the
that's-
turkey woods.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, and the deer woods too,
Yeah,
dude.
and the
I
deer
mean, it
woods.
happens to me all. I mean, my story on the last podcast for the rut successes. I mean, it can go from 0 to 100, and that's just what really keeps me locked in. And I hope that some of that passes on to him, and I'm just excited for more to come with that.
Awesome. So, you got a whole lifetime ahead of it.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Speaking of kids, Drake, let's hear about your birthday.
So same day.
Oh,
Same day. Yeah.
Nice transition.
Yeah, you like that?
I'm gonna start like with the beginning of turkey season. I'll just kind of run through it real quick.
There ain't no rules here.
Yeah. So we find birds. We're kind of a group. We hunt as a group. We talk a lot. We find birds. We're all kind of together, and me and Gavin.
WildTine TV is what he's talking about.
Yeah, WildTine TV. Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, just in case anyone doesn't know what you're talking about. But yeah.
But we're hunting pretty hard at the beginning of season, first week or whatever. Not too hard. Mornings before work a little bit here and there when we'd roost a bird. And I guess I'll start with the morning we left for PA. It was Wednesday morning. I forget what date it was, but Wednesday morning we woke up and me and Gavin had plans of going out hunting. So we pull up to the spot where we know birds are. We didn't even have to roost them. And Sammy, his truck's parked in our parking spot.
Oh, you got
Some friendly fire.
yeah, friendly fire got you there, man. Damn.
So, no, it was all cool. Sammy hops out, and we didn't talk to Sammy that night before because me and Gavin were just gonna hunt real quick and then leave for PA. But Sammy hops out and we talked to him. We're like, let's go kill something. So we headed up it was a big hayfield up into a block of woods. So we headed up and cut in. The whole time walking back there, birds just hammering, and pretty confident that there was only one gobbler in there and then like 3 jakes. Yeah. But we ended up getting set up on them and start calling to them, and the hens just go ballistic, and we're right underneath them basically. They hit the ground, split up, and here comes a train of them. It was the 2 jakes were in front, which I thought the second one was a gobbler. I almost told Sammy. I had my gun on my lap, so I almost shot a jake on accident this year. If my gun was up
I would not have let you hear the end of that.
If my gun was up and ready to go, I noticed the first one was a definite jake, but the second one, he was just gobbling, and he had a big red beady head on him, and I'm like, I was pretty confident. It was still early.
We call them joms.
Joms, that's what they're called.
That's what they are, man. They're just cocky jakes,
Yeah. So them suckers worked in, and Sammy ended up shooting the back bird, the strutter. It was a long beard, and we got all pumped up about that. And then,
is that the one on the power line?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. That was that morning. Right before we left.
On video, everything good.
Yep. It was all crisp. Tons of vocals that morning. It was crazy. Like
good.
Probably the most I've really ever heard. And I was calling basically the whole time with them, just matching what the hens were doing.
Were you calling in? Was Gavin running camera?
Gavin was behind us running camera. Perfect. I was calling, and Sammy had his gun ready to go. So
Awesome.
That was cool. And then we did PA. So I was not really focusing on turkeys, just fishing.
Yeah, I can't remember much.
Yeah, fishing, drinking,
hanging out, drinking.
Is he in the video at all? I haven't watched the video yet.
No, because we didn't take no damn video when we were drinking.
Cooper Bob's.
We took 0 video when we were drinking. We should have taken some, but
some skee ball or what?
The video's short.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trout camp video, by the way, comes out. Well, when you're listening to this podcast, it'll be live, so it's out. Check it out. But I thought you might make an appearance.
No, I didn't film.
I haven't seen it yet. Isaac did the editing this year.
We caught a bunch of fish. It was a great time.
We had a great time too. We would have stayed that last day if it didn't fucking rain like dick on us.
What'd you guys end up doing Saturday?
They went salmon, right?
The next morning when you guys left.
Yeah.
We hit salmon, and then the next morning after that, Nathan actually took us to a different creek. I forget the name of it. I think I don't think it was porcupine. I forget. But we caught some wild trout.
Yeah, we ended up catching one wild trout on accident. We weren't really trying, but we did.
Yeah,
they might have went. Well, who knows? Nah.
Yeah, who knows?
They weren't very big, but they're
tiny. They're tiny, but they're cool.
Fun as shit to catch.
They're colorful.
So I had a good time in PA, and we came back from there. I actually got sick when we were in PA. I was getting a cold, and I was feeling all messed up. Well, the day we got back, I was down bad.
I got sick too in PA. I was feeling pretty bad as well. Different reasons.
When we got back, I was feeling rough. And mind you, I preset this blind. I got permission at this spot where we knew there was birds. We've hunted the area in the past. We really couldn't get to where they roosted, basically. But we knew there was birds in there, knew they were roosted, where they were. And I ended up getting permission on a field that touches the property that they roost on. So my thinking, my knowledge with it was, I've never done this before at all, but I've seen 100 people do it. So I set my blind up in the middle of this hayfield that I pulled permission on. And actually, when the guy was driving me around on a side-by-side, showing me property lines, talking to me, it was family friend, so he was super nice. Property owners were super cool. And we actually ended up seeing 2 gobblers when we were driving around the side-by-side. And he's like, yeah, we see them back here all the time. I'm like, perfect. So
I'm in.
Preset that blind, and in my mind, just like hitting it, maybe mid-morning, maybe an evening. But when we're coming home from Pennsylvania, the next day, season in Ohio opened all day.
Yeah. Yep.
So I ended up taking off work because I was that down bad. And later on that evening, about 3 o'clock, I was feeling a little bit better. And I was thinking about it. All my stuff's ready to go. I'm all set in stone. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go try that blind. It's an evening. I know there's turkeys around. I know they're going to be close to there because they're going to go roost. So I decided to go out, and I'm walking out to the blind. It's probably off the road. It's probably 300 yards back to this hayfield. And I got my idea was Jake and hen decoy.
Right.
Throw it out there. I've heard a bunch of people say that. So I got my Jake, my hen, my camera, my tripods in my vest.
Trust me, I know the feeling.
Before I set that
pack mule.
Before I set that blind up, I forgot to put chairs in there. So I got a chair I'm carrying with me. I got a monster in one hand, my shotgun. I'm a pack mule. So I take this trudge back to this field, and I'm walking, taking my time. And where my blind is kind of on an uphill, and then the field kind of rolls down. So you can't really see the rest of the field until you're at the blind.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's probably a good chance there's turkeys out in here. So I kept keeping that blind in between me and the bottom field. And sure enough, I peek up over the hill and I see 2 red heads down probably 200 yards in the field. I bino them. I can't really tell what they are. And I was like, all right, well, I got to do something here. I ditched the chair in my can of Monster because I'm like, I got to lighten my pack. I
Gotta lighten my load.
Yeah, decisions had to be made at that moment.
I'm like, I can do without my chair, whatever, I got my camera, gun, I'm good to go, decoys.
See, the chair would have been the first thing for me. I would have kept that no matter what.
Yes.
So
Shows our age.
I sneak up and I keep this blind in between me and where I thought I saw turkeys. Well, I finally get right behind the blind, and I'm getting my stuff packed, getting gun off, decoys off. I actually took the decoys out of the bag, and I get set up and I peek around the blind because my door's on that side.
Yeah.
And I saw those turkeys out there. I look at them, and I was pretty sure it was 2 Jakes and a hen or 2, something like that. And I was like, all right, I'll keep those in front of me, and I'm going to try to sneak these decoys out. Because if I could lay down and army crawl, 10, 15 yards in front of the blind, I can get these decoys set up. So I go in the blind, and I look at them, I glass them up a little bit just to make sure. They ended up kind of working in the woods a little bit, so I'm like, perfect time. Decoys are ready. I sneak out of the blind. I'm army crawling these decoys. My gun's on the blind, and this gobbler's at 60, 70 yards. And he cuts across the field, and he's heading towards those other birds. And I just got these decoys in front of me.
You're going to get flogged, dude.
He's looking at me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. I just sat there, still as could be, with these 2 decoys in front of me, and he ended up working past, and he worked down to those other birds. Well, I jammed the decoys in the ground.
What kind of decoys are you using?
Actually, I won them at the Medina County Hunters.
Damn.
Remember the
Everybody's decoys.
Yeah, I do remember the banquets.
Yeah, I won. They're avians. I won a Jake and 2 hens.
Yeah.
I won them in a bundle.
I'm pretty sure every decoy we have is also from the Medina County Hunters banquet.
I've never bought a turkey decoy. I promise you that.
I hear those guys were some bad motherfuckers.
Who?
The Medina County Hunters guys.
Oh yeah.
I hear about that too. That was fun. I remember. I mean, I was young when you guys were doing it, but I loved it.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that one day. But
Talk about it later.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
So
Hey.
I got those decoys set out right next to the blind because I could hardly really get them out in front of me. And I'm like, all right, well, that's gonna have to work for now. We'll see what happens. I get in the blind, and I can see all the turkeys on the field. They're all back out, and I start calling a little bit. And that bird, he was gobbling. I mean, I think I got out there at 4 o'clock, and he was just hammering back to me. And then he finally shut up, went quiet, and the whole flock kind of came up to the top corner of the field. And there's a ravine down to the left of them. And he was just sitting up on that ravine gobbling down into it. And I would call back to him, and he would gobble down the ravine. He wouldn't look over to my direction or nothing. He'd strut back and forth. I don't think he could get a visual on the decoys or what. But he was probably 90, 100 yards away, and I'm just like getting so frustrated. Like you were talking earlier.
Yeah, he's
like,
just waiting for that hen to come to him.
Yeah. And I think he was thinking that hen was down that ravine. You know, like hearing it kind of echo down in there, because he would literally stand up there and gobble down into it. And I'm like,
They have a brain the size of a walnut. We got to remember that. Like
I know. Hunting deer makes me overthink these turkeys. I'm telling
because
you.
they're stupid.
They are. And you don't, they're stupid, but they're kind of smart.
They're just
But
scared. They're
it's-
scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some stuff I'm going to talk about after you're done. That's just fucking.
You don't realize, like, when you're a deer hunter and you pick up turkey hunting, like, you're on pins and needles the whole time. Like, you can't express that enough, but
Yeah.
you just got to hunt the turkeys.
Yeah.
So anyways, he's strutting back and forth. I'm watching him, filming him, gobbling. I'm just like taking it in. But like you were saying earlier, just ditching the camera, going to get him. Like I was running through my mind, like throw the Reaper on the gun, try something. But I just sat, was patient, evening hunting birds. I wasn't getting aggressive. And they ended up working down, and there's this little drainage in the field. And they got away, and they were all down this drainage. I'm like, perfect timing. Hopped out of the blind again. I was in and out of this blind like 4 different times.
What kind of door does it have?
It's them hawk blinds. I know you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Nice.
I
I got
hate-
one this year too.
I hate the little, like, they work it, but I hate the little clips. Or, no, you're talking about, like, the really nice hawk?
Yeah, it's like a magnet. The aluminum poles. Like
Yeah.
the
Oh, you
tall
had
piece.
you had one of those blinds.
Yeah, they're-
like the
oh,
nice
You're in
ones.
the big one.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
How'd you get that thing out there?
I carried it. I mean, it's got those backpack. Dude, it's badass. It folds up like an accordion,
Yeah,
basically.
well, I know, but it weighs like 60 pounds.
Yeah, I lugged it back there.
Damn.
His
To
might
be
be a
young
smaller
again.
size than ours too. They
It's
make
not
a smaller one.
super big.
Oh, ours is like from here to the wall.
The 6
He's-
panel.
It's huge.
He's probably got the
Six
Scout.
Yeah.
Okay, because ours is 84 inches.
Okay.
Like it's massive.
It's like half this room.
Yeah.
2 people in there, it's pretty tight. So,
Oh, no,
no.
You could put like all 4 of us in ours.
okay.
Yeah. So you got the smaller version.
Because I was
But
saying
still,
ours does accordion too, but like it accordions to like 36 inches by 72. I mean, it's fucking big.
Yeah.
I got the same one.
can stand
Yeah.
up and shoot.
and just getting that thing from my front porch into my house into my garage. I mean, I know it's convenient, but when I was like, bro,
Yeah, it needs wheels on it or
like
something.
yeah.
Okay, so you got. I mean, those hawk blinds are awesome. Those
super
magnet
nice
windows
blinds.
and shit. Awesome.
Magnet windows.
Yeah,
And
it's got a
magnet
door, right? Yeah.
So it was. I'm thankful that I was just in and out of the door
Yeah.
instead of zipping a zipper and whatnot.
Right,
Because these
right.
birds, they're only at 90, 100 yards. Well, I army crawl those decoys probably 10 yards in front of my blind. I'm like, that's good enough. Like, good to go. End up hopping back in my blind, and it was probably around 6 o'clock at this time, and they're working in this drainage in this field, and they're kind of heading towards where they roost. And I'm like, well, they're probably gonna go, meander down there and
Hang out.
end up flying up to roost. Like, I'm getting down on myself. I don't see them for like 30 minutes. So I don't have a chair, so I'm on my knees the whole. Dude, my legs still hurt.
Oh, yeah. My legs. I'd be in a hospital. Like, us old guys, we would be in a hospital.
It
30
was
seconds.
rough.
Honey.
I'd be in a wheelchair. I'd be.
I'm like up on my knees and then like down, sitting crisscross applesauce, like just.
I can't even sit that way. My legs would break.
But I'm just like wasting time, like just down on my luck and whatnot. But I end up seeing them. They pop out of the field and they're kind of faring my way. And in the same field still, they haven't made it all the way down the bottom, because where they roost is like the bottom of the field, and then they fly up to the trees on the next ridge.
Yep.
So they didn't work all the way down in that field, and they were kind of cutting up towards me. And I was calling a little bit. He gobbled a couple more times. The most he ever was vocal was when he was up on that point trying to get me to come out. But then the hens started talking a little bit. Now, when you get hens talking in the evening, usually they're curious and they're going to come up and check it out. Well, I couldn't see the hens. I couldn't see the jakes, but I could see his fan. He was strutting basically the whole entire time. And I would just call a little bit, and I'd see him strut. He's probably 80, 90 yards, but he's working my way. And then next thing you know, I see hens come up into my field, basically.
Yeah.
There's like a little knoll, and they come up in it. I'm like, here's the hens, and then sure enough, the 2 jakes, and they're working in. Well, they finally get visual on my decoys. And they're kind of like flanking me a little bit, but I could still see the strutter, and he's 30 yards behind
Was it
them.
grass high? in the hayfield?
No, not super bad.
Okay.
Like, definitely.
Just rolly enough to where you can't quite see him all the way.
Yeah, and I'm like down lower, and like I get up and I could see his fan. It's just a little rolling terrain. It was
Chair would be sweet right there, probably.
no kidding. I thought about when I moved those decoys to go back and get the chair, but I'm just like, no, I can do without the chair. Well, those every turkey comes up except him, and I'm like, well, it's just got to be a matter of time. And I'm just like, in the blind, you feel like you're so naked because in the middle of this field in this blind, I got turkeys at 50 yards, and I'm like, I'm gonna get busted. Like, I've never done it before, so in my head, I'm just like overthinking it. Well, eventually the time works up, and those turkeys are just feeding at 50, 60 yards. Then they end up flanking, and they're coming close. They're like 30 yards in my blind. But the gobbler stayed like 30 yards away from him, and he gets visual on my decoys, and he kind of offsets those turkeys a little bit, and he's like in my window, like perfect. Like, if he would have been where those ones were, I would have had to open a window, move my camera.
Yeah, the mess. Yeah.
Move my gun.
Yeah.
But luckily, he worked in this, those long, skinny windows in those blinds?
Yeah, the vertical bow window.
Yep. I had my camera set up on that window, and I was basically going to shoot out of that window, too. And later, it was a pain in the ass to do. It sucked. But I had him in film, and he's working in. He's probably 60, and he'd go in and out of strut. He'd come in, and the jakes and hens are probably 20, 30 yards away from me. And I'm kind of stuck, like trying to move a little bit. And he probably gets like 40 yards. I never stepped it off, but he was probably 40, went in and out of strut. I finally like get under my tripod, under my camera out of that little window, like side saddle. And I'm like, I got him in my sights in and out a couple times, make sure he's in frame. I felt good about it. He was probably 40. I wouldn't say he was any closer than 40. And I probably could have waited him out a little bit longer, but I felt so good about it. I was on film, and I just cracked one off and started flopping.
Hell yeah, man.
Rolling.
What kind of sights do you have on that gun?
It's just a cheap one I bought I think I bought it off Amazon a few years back. It's just like a little circle, and then you got the, your leader
Gotcha.
bead.
So
Is it the dead ringer?
It might be.
Yeah.
It
I've
doesn't
used
even
that
have
before.
the glow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like,
Right on.
But you're shooting a circle in a
yeah.
He's got Amazon sites and a $55 box of 5.
no. $84.
Oh, excuse me.
You should have bought the 4-pack of shells, and then you could have bought a nice sight.
I
had to point that out.
I was really thinking about like taking my bow out before I went with my shotgun, but I'm so glad I didn't. Like, it would have been 10 times harder. Like I thought it would be super easy, but it never goes the way you want it to go. So
because we're indoctrinated by this YouTube stuff where these guys just make it look so easy, and
it's so
not.
hard to film out of a blind and shoot because the way the camera has to line up with the windows plus the way you shoot, it's such a pain in the ass.
yeah.
With a bow. A gun, it's a little bit easier, but still hard.
Yeah, like side saddling on that camera, and like you said, your gun hit your camera, and I couldn't believe it. In the footage, everything, my camera sat still on the tripod. It didn't move, nothing.
Nice.
It was
nice.
It was good, crisp footage. I had a secondary angle rolling, and I ran out of the blind, and my main camera was filming me go grab the turkey.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was sweet stuff.
So that'll probably be next year. This will air.
Probably.
Sweet.
Cool.
Or
I'll
you
be looking
and Gavin
forward
could
to
learn to
seeing
edit.
it.
You could get it out this year. You know what I mean?
I edited I did a little bit, but with the youth season turkey video, that's probably going to get posted. I should have posted a little bit ago, but it's not like completely done yet.
Yeah. Nah,
I'm dabbling in it.
We're
though.
just busting balls on that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with waiting because you can get it out in a more opportune time. Like we're already at the end. Like THP and these guys are already
they're done.
posting turkey
Done posting
content.
turkeys.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Pennsylvania just opened today.
They just
literally today.
When we going?
I do. I
Right?
want to.
I
do.
thought about that.
I do want to go.
I do want to go too. We could go if I could theoretically. Well, no, I wouldn't. I had to work
Sunday
Friday.
hunting screws us on
Yeah,
that.
the not having Sunday hunting is what screws you because I'm screwed.
You get 1 day basically.
Yeah.
But the nice part is that it is only like
2.5,
some
3 hours away.
You know.
Well, cool. That was a couple really awesome turkey stories. Thanks for sharing them with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else
we had
before
to
wrap it up?
We had to bring in guys that actually kill turkeys because I've been hunting my balls off, and we are not going to talk about any of that in this podcast because I just
we went longer than we were gonna.
I got a lot of turkey hunting stories to tell, but we're not telling them today. So
That'll be the depressing. If you shoot one, it'll be good.
I got I got to find the time to tell the peanut story.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm going to tell that one, and then the last couple.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'll
me
tell you
too.
guys
I'm
after.
intrigued.
I'll tell you guys after the podcast.
Okay.
The story.
All right, you want to finish it up?
Isaac wants to go eat dinner. So
Yeah, dinner was ready 20 minutes ago.
Deer
I'm
Shot
getting texted.
Podcast, episode 93. We have Drake Honigman, Danny Svoboda,
And we are out.
We are out.